Hello and welcome to the Critical Health Psychology course. The roots of a dysfunctional health system and the collision of the epidemics of communicable and non-communicable diseases in South Africa can be found in the politics from periods of the country's history, from colonial subjugation, apartheid disposition to the post-apartheid period. Racial and gender discrimination, the migrant labor system, the destruction of the family, vast income inequalities, and extreme violence have all formed part of South Africa's troubled past, and all have inexorably affected health and health services. Before we can even unpack the role of the psychologist in post-apartheid South Africa, we have to revisit what the history of our public health system is. And even in post-apartheid South Africa, since 1994, when apartheid ended, the health system faced massive challenges, many of which still persist. Macroeconomic policies fostering growth rather than redistribution contributed to the persistence of economic disparities between races, despite a large expansion in social grants. The public health system has been transformed into an integrated, comprehensive national service, but failures in leadership and stewardship and weak management have led to inadequate implementation of what are often good policies. Let's talk about the health system through colonialism and apartheid for one moment. A notable feature of the history of health services in South Africa has been fragmentation, both within the public health sector and between the public and private sectors. At an early stage, health facilities were racially segregated, and curative and preventative services were separated. And this was done by the Public Health Amendment Act of 1897. The 1919 Health Act gave responsibility for hospital curative care to the 4 provinces and preventative and promotive health care to the local authorities. The Gluckman Commission, this was during the period of 1942 to 1944, it was an attempt to redirect the health system. And at the heart of this vision was a chain of community health centers, which were forerunners of community-based primary health care. Gluckman became Minister of Health in 1945, but the Nationalist Party assumed power in 1948. This happened before the Gluckman recommendations have even been implemented, and they were subsequently rejected. The apartheid system then further entrenched fragmentation of healthcare when the Bantustans were created, each with its own health department. The Bantustans and their government departments acted separately from each other, like quasi-independent powers with control carefully manipulated by Pretoria. By the end of apartheid, there were 14 separate health departments in South Africa, including one from structures reporting to each of the 3 parliaments. Health services were focused on the hospital sector, and the primary level services were under development. What am I getting at here? I'm trying to tell you that the key challenges facing the health system starting in 1994 up until now in 2020, the health system was inherited by the newly elected government, right? So we inherited this fragmented health system from colonial and apartheid regimes. And so what this means is that in post-apartheid South Africa, the central task for the democratically elected state is to address the disempowerment, the discrimination, and underdevelopment that over centuries has weakened our health system. The ANC's health plan, which was established in 1994, was the post-apartheid model for the health system change. This meant that it was basically revisited, that the Gluckman Commission, which was 50 years old at the time, was readdressed by the new government. The 14 health administrations of the Bantustans and South Africa were consolidated into one national and 9 provincial departments. These health facilities were desegregated in the late 1980s. Primary health care delivered via a district health system was made the cornerstone of the health policy. So this is currently the structure of the South African health sector. We have a National Department of Health, which is responsible for national policy. We have 9 provincial departments of health responsible for developing provincial policy within the framework of national policy and public health service delivery. There are 3 tiers of hospital. There are tertiary hospitals, regional hospitals, and district hospitals. The primary healthcare system, which is mainly a nurse-driven service in clinics, includes the district hospital and community health centers. The local government is responsible for preventative and promotive services. The primary healthcare system consists of general practitioners and private hospitals, with care in private hospitals mostly funded through medical schemes. In 2008, 70% of private hospitals lay in 3 of the country's 9 provinces, with 38% located in the Gauteng province, which is Johannesburg and Pretoria alone.